Hi, it's me Jacqueline. Welcome to my channel. If you're new to the channel, then please subscribe my channel and visit my Patreon page, link in the description.
It had been over 2 years since Jess had seen his cousin Virgil, who lived with his maiden Aunt Jane. From what he could remember of him, Virg was every bit as much of a hellion as he had become since his dad went to prison. Jess' mom, Susan, was still employed at the same bar, working until all hours and usually not showing up until it was time for him to go off to school, which he quite often skipped if she didn't come home. He was old enough to know she was sleeping around, but he didn't care as long as she fed him and let him run wild. He was 14 now, and his mother thought she could leave him alone. After he had been expelled from school for the second time that year, the courts thought otherwise and declared her an unfit mother, leaving her a choice of giving Jess over as a ward of the state or sending him to Aunt Jane and making her his legal guardian with full custody. Even Susan, in her drunken and debauched state of mind, didn't want to see Jessup end up in state control, even though she knew he may end up there just like his father if he didn't settle down. She opted for Aunt Jane, and Jane accepted what was to be, as she would soon find out, a challenge, but not one that she couldn't handle. Susan took Jess to the bus depot, kissed him goodbye, and happily went home to bed, relieved that she no longer had an unruly teenager to deal with. How callous and self-centered. Her life would take some interesting turns, but that is for another time. The ride to Aunt Jane's was rather long, 5 hours non-stop, and he didn't think he'd be seeing much of his mother from then on, but he was certainly looking forward to spending time with his rebellious counterpart, Cousin Virgil. It was April and things were starting to warm up in the north. Jess figured he'd probably get out of that semester of school since he got kicked out in the middle of it. Arriving at the bus terminal in downtown Chicago, he began scanning the crowd for his aunt and Virgil. It was Saturday, and he figured Virg would want to come along and renew old times. He saw Aunt Jane, but not Virgil. "Hi, Aunt Jane. Where's Virgil?" He is at home cleaning up the kitchen for me. "He'll be very glad to see you, I'm sure. Give me that other bag and we can get going. My car is over there." And so we loaded my stuff, which didn't amount to much, into her trunk with lots of room left over and headed out of the parking lot. I remembered that they lived on the outskirts of the city and a fairly nice neighborhood. At least it wasn't wall-to-wall apartment buildings with nothing but on-street parking. Aunt Jane actually had a rather nice 6-room house and a fenced-in yard. As they pulled up in the driveway, he noticed that the basketball hoop was missing from the front of the garage. "What happened to the hoop, Aunt Jane?" "Oh, we don't need that anymore, Jess, so I had a handyman take it down." "Don't need it?" "That's right. I think it will become clear to you soon enough." Again, Aunt Jane helped me in with my bags. I was a slight kid for 14, probably 120 pounds, and not a smidgen over 5 feet 5 inches tall, with defiantly long blonde hair and a hoop earring in my left ear. I wanted to get a tattoo, but Mom wouldn't let me. I was glad for the help. I wasn't really very strong. She let me carry the heavy one though, and I struggled up the porch stairs with it, setting it down while she opened the door for us. The place was just like I remembered it, a bit old-fashioned, except that instead of the usual mess that Virgil had always made of the place with his games and stuff, the house was now spotless. "Did you hire a maid, Aunt Jane?" "In a manner of speaking, honey, yes. We sort of have a maid now." Apparently she was still in the kitchen as I heard the clatter of silverware being put away. "Where's Virgil?" I asked. "He's not here, honey. Let me introduce you to my new helper." "But you said he was here helping you with the kitchen," and just then I rounded the corner and saw Aunt Jane's new maid. It was Virgil. At least she resembled what I remembered Virgil looking like, only this girl had beautiful, long auburn hair to her shoulders, the same color and Virg's, and was wearing a shirtwaist dress and black leather flats. She had nice boobs too for her age, and she was soft and round where a girl should be round, and had a tiny waistline. She only wore a little lipstick and had small dangle earrings that sparkled when she moved her head. I was a little awestruck by her good looks. Nice bod, I thought. Aunt Jane jarred me awake with, "Jess, I'd like to present your cousin Virginia." And Virginia answered back in her sweet voice, "Jess, it is so nice to see you again. Please have a seat and let me get you a cup of tea." Yeah, that would be fine. Thanks. I sat down quickly as my legs were a little wobbly at this point. Aunt Jane, what's going on here? What's become of Virgil? And then, stupid me, it hit full force. I had just been introduced to Virgil, only now he wasn't Virgil anymore. It was a good thing I was sitting down. The exertion from carrying my bag was tiring, but this was unbelievable. I had to catch my breath. Virgil? No, Jess. Not anymore. I only answer to Virginia now. I'm a girl and I've come to like it. Her voice was soft, lilting, light, and utterly feminine, and she sounded sincere. This couldn't be my cousin. You've got to be kidding. After all the hell we raised together? You? A girl and like it? How? When? Somebody, please explain this before I collapse. Maybe Auntie had better explain it to you. She is the one responsible for showing me the light. All right, Ginny, I'll explain. You remember the both of you as wild and crazy guys, as Steve Martin would say. Well, that became a real problem. Virgil got in some trouble, stole a bicycle, and got in some fights. I suppose the fights wouldn't have been that bad, only he is built like you and invariably came home quite bloody. It had to stop. The lying, the stealing, the fights. It was more than I could stand, and then Virgil's counselor at school made what, at the time, sounded like a wild suggestion. However, after considering it carefully, I reasoned it the only way, and so here you have it, the solution to Virgil's and my problems, namely, Ginny here. Her counselor even got the court to rule on it, and so Virginia is legally female, although we are just working on the preliminary stages of that. She's not completely female, but when she graduates, she will be. So, what do you think of your cousin Virginia, Jessie? My name's Jess, and I'm just plain blown away. Ginny, you are beautiful. Are those your figure? It's so real. Yes, Jessie, it's all me. My body doesn't get any boy hormones anymore, only girl ones. I will never have to shave or worry about my voice changing or any of that stuff now. Isn't it great? Well, maybe you think it's great, Ginny, but from where I sit, it's just awful. Who am I going to raise Cain with now? We used to have such great times together. Oh, we still can, Jessie, only it will be a little different. I think you'll really enjoy it as much as I do. Wait just a darn minute, Ginny. Are you hinting at what I think you are? Are you saying that I'm going to end up, like you? A girl. I guess your mom didn't tell you, huh? It figures. You never would have come. You'd probably have run away from home, and that would be really dumb. Yes, Jessie, you have also been ordered by the court to become a girl just like me under the care of Dr. Benet at the University of Chicago. We'll have such fun. It will be just like old times, except they'll be girl times, and they are really just as much fun and not nearly so dangerous. You're just going to love it. You've started already. What do you mean I've started already? Your tea. So that's why it tasted a little off. What did you put in it? Nothing much. Just a little tranquilizer so you wouldn't fight us. So that's why I'm so relaxed and feel weak. Exactly. Now why don't you be a good girl and pull down your jeans so we can give you your shots? Shots? No way. I'm not a girl and I'm not going to be. Oh yes, Jessie way. You aren't strong enough to fight both of us. Drop them or we do it for you. Okay, have it your way. And with that, Aunt Jane began undoing my belt and zipper. She pulled me into a standing position and Ginny pulled down my jeans and shorts, and then Ginny rubbed some alcohol on my butt and slammed 2 big shots into me while Aunt Jane held me. There now, Jessie. That wasn't so bad, was it? You'll be getting that twice a week for the next 6 months and then only once a month. Here, swallow this pill. Here's some water. I took the pill. What else could I do? I was very mellow at that point and just wanted to go to bed. Can I go to bed now, Auntie? I like that. Yes, dear, you may, and do keep calling me Auntie. That's sweet. Please undress here, and your room is upstairs at the end of the hall. Ginny, go up and lay out something for Jessie to sleep in while I help him upstairs. Yes, Auntie. Right away. And with that, Ginny scampered up ahead of us, running down the hall, her hair and skirt flowing behind her. I still had my shorts on, of course, but as soon as she got me to the door, Auntie made me take them off, saying, Jessie, honey, everything you need to wear is here in this room, and she pushed me inside stark naked. I stood there pretty much in daze as she slipped my first pair of lacy panties up my legs and my silky nightie over my head. I couldn't find the strength to protest. I was so weak. I just wanted to sleep. She led me over to the bed and drew back the covers to reveal beautiful satin sheets and pillowcases. I snuggled down and she tucked me in. I vaguely remember the last thing she said to me, "That's a good girl. Get some rest and we'll see you for dinner." I had a horrible nightmare. I dreamt I was strapped to an operating table and some guy was pouring some kind of goo all over my crotch while I watched everything there dissolve. I guess that was what woke me up along with the sound of the knock on the door and Ginny telling me it was time for dinner soon and I'd better get dressed. I was still groggy, but reality began to creep back in, and I realized that I was luxuriating in satin panties, satin gown, and between satin sheets in a very comfortable bed. I had the strangest feeling and I hated it. It felt good. Well, I'd better wash up and get some clothes on. Putting on my slippers, I went to my little bathroom and discovered it had everything I needed, that is, if I were a girl. After I washed my face, I checked out my dresser. It was filled with hose and lingerie, silky, sexy, girly stuff. My stuff was nowhere in sight. I'd put on the slippers without thinking and then looked down to discover they were girls' slides with about a 2-inch heel. It hadn't even registered. I looked in the closet. All I could find was skirts and blouses and dresses and pretty shoes and purses. Again, not a boy thing in sight. "Auntie?" I screamed at the top of my lungs. "You don't have to shout. I'm right here, dear." "Where's my stuff?" "That is your stuff, honey. That's the only clothing you'll be wearing from now on. Ginny and I have gone through your luggage and gotten out the books and a few other things you'll need. The rest has been taken to a charity drop-off at the supermarket. Your girly magazines that made that case so heavy have been tossed in a dumpster. You won't be needing those anymore, dear." "You didn't." "Of course we did, darling. You are legally mine and you have been ordered by the court to become my niece, and that you will do, so find something to wear." I must have looked like an idiot standing there with my mouth open, not knowing quite what to say or do. "Oh, never mind. I'll get an outfit together for you this time, and then Ginny can begin teaching you what goes with what. While I'm at it, I want you to take stock of what's in your drawers. The hose and garter belts and knee-highs are in the top, the bras and camisoles are in the next one, the slips and chemises and teddies are in the next one, and the bottom has your foundation garments and panties." Thinking back, I guess she took it as easy on me as she could. She got out a pair of knee-highs, slacks, a light yellow blouse, a pair of flats, a bra, and a yellow ribbon for my hair. I knew how to dress myself. I'd seen my mother do it a million times. That's just an A- cup, honey, but you need to get used to the feel of a bra. I want you to wear it all the time for a while, even when in bed. You'll be needing it soon enough. I was still too weak to resist her, although I really wanted to. She was at least 3 inches taller than me, though, and probably outweighed me by 40 or 50 pounds. I got the picture. I'd been bloodied a few times and didn't like it. "All right now, Jessie. Please come downstairs and put on an apron as we have some housework to do besides the kitchen. We had a party here last night, and we need to clean up the family room. I will help this time, but as a rule, you 2 girls will be responsible for the household chores." "I am not a girl, Auntie." "Honey, I thought we already told you about that." "No, not yet, but you soon will be, and you'll just have to get used to it and all that goes with that." "I don't understand." "Oh, you know, hair, nails, skin care, leg shaving, makeup, school, housework, boys." "Boys? You've got to be kidding, Auntie. No way am I getting near another boy like this or wearing anything I see in that room." "You can't be near another boy unless you are one, Jessie, remember?" "Oh, Jessie, I can see your mother in you as a young woman. She was quite pretty and you will be too. I'm afraid boys are going to be a fact of life for you, sweetie. And don't call me sweetie. I'll never be a sweetie like Virginia. GWD, I can't believe this. You're going to turn me into a damn girl with the courts and my mother's blessing. It's just not fair. I won't let you." "Watch your mouth, young lady, and here, dry those tears. We don't want our eyes all puffy, do we? I don't want Ginny to think I've been up here beating on you. You wouldn't, would you?" "Not unless I have to, dear. Only if I have to." "Well, she sure made that plain enough, didn't she?" Again, I got this picture of the ambulance hauling me away. I guess I'd have to play along until I saw a chance to escape. In the meantime, I'd scope out the town and see what I could do and where I could go, bearing in mind that I had less than $50 in my possession. If I spent the whole thing on a bus, how would I eat and where would I sleep? This would take some time to plan out, maybe even several months. Well, I'm young. I have time. Surely that stuff they're pumping into me couldn't get to me that fast. I put my clothes on like a good girl. The time wasn't ripe yet for the rebellion. First, I had to really test out my cousin and see if pardon me, she had really turned on me. From what I saw so far, I couldn't tell her from any other girl. I looked in the mirror. Well, I did look sort of nice, but it wasn't me, and I vowed to go kicking and screaming into the grave of femininity. I was a bit sullen the rest of the day, but finally did lend Ginny a hand with dinner. I guess it wasn't really fair for her to have to wait on me hand and foot as we were the same age, and I was no longer a guest, but a resident of the household. Sigh, I suppose this means I'm going to have to do chores. Mom never made me do chores, but then, she didn't do them either. Well, aside from what I'll be wearing, it won't be as boring as sitting around watching TV waiting for Mom to wake up so she can go get laid again. It was almost a relief to be in a house where someone actually cared whether I lived or died. Yeah, I kind of liked that part. When it was bath time that night, I didn't give my aunt any lip. I just went and did what she told me, shaved my legs and armpits and got into a pretty nightie and my slippers and came downstairs to kiss her goodnight. What a trip. Maybe I could lull her into a stupor if I pretended to go along with her. I'd have to think on that a while. Well, you look very nice, Jessie. Turn around. Yes, very nice, but keep your ponytail on top of your head, dear, up at the crown where it belongs. She proceeded to place it where she wanted it. I felt so girlish with it up there swinging around. I kissed her goodnight and went to bed. Tonight, I was in less of a rebellious mood and enjoyed the feeling of the clean sheets, something I rarely had at home, and my nightie, and drifted off after taking my pill. Ginny woke me up the next morning telling me to get my robe on and come help her fix breakfast. It was our job to take care of the house and do the meals. I put on the satin robe and a pair of pancake skimmers with a bow at the vamp and stumped on down behind her to the kitchen. Virgil, what's with? Stop calling me Virgil, Jessie. You can call me Virginia or Ginny and that's it. Aunt Jane will come down on you too. Get used to it. Oh, all right already then, Ginny. What's with us having to get breakfast anyway? We have to eat anyway, and so we get Aunt Jane's too. So what do we eat? Something that doesn't make us fat, like maybe toast and eggs or an omelette, cereal, something like that. What happened to sausage and bacon and waffles and stuff? Again, fat. You don't understand yet. Girls' hormones seem to attract fat, and we have to be weight conscious, or we'll be tubs, and I am not going to be a tub. Do have a cute figure, Virg, Enia. Thanks, Jessie. You'll catch up. Don't worry. Oh, believe me, I'm not worrying, at least not about that. What's with the shots and the pills? Is that what does it? Yes, and they calm you down too. There's a time when a sort of mental shift takes place and you all of a sudden don't seem to mind anymore. As young as we are, they even reshape our skeletons so that you can't tell them from a regular female's. You may even get to like it. Never, ever. There is no way those stupid shots are going to get to me. Mind over matter. You'll see. Well, I'm sure you're right, Jessie. Just don't worry about it and play along. As long as you keep Aunt Jane thinking she is winning, she won't give you a hard time, and believe me, you don't want to give her a hard time. I don't think I should just cave in though. That would take all the fun out of it. I think I ought to give her at least a little hard time, and that way she'll think she's winning me over to all this crap. Sounds good to me, Jessie. That way she won't see it coming when you revolt and win the game. Hey, that's a pretty good idea. I could just make her think I'm buying all this girly stuff, and she won't be expecting it when I make my break. Now you've got the idea, Jessie. Just lull her to sleep until you're ready. Yeah, okay. Well, I'm supposed to be teaching you about all this stuff. So listen up, cause she'll expect you to know it, alright? Yeah, I guess I'll have to, won't I? So, what are you making? A ham and cheese omelet with peppers and onions. How about taking that chef's knife and chopping the peppers and onions into little pieces, okay? Sure. Oh, she'll want you to wear an apron. Sorry. No problem. I can handle an apron all right. How bad could that be? You haven't seen the apron. Oh, wow. I see what you mean. Frilly, ain't it? That's the way she likes them, Jessie. Really feminine. She wants everything very feminine where we are concerned, so don't go berserk on her or you'll end up in the dungeon or worse. The dungeon? Well, that's what I call it. She'll put you in a corset and a dress and high heels and tie you up in your room until you relent and give up. Wow. Yeah, I can skip that all right. I think I'll just go along with the little upgrades she's going to lay on me and those damn hormones. Well, don't worry about them. They won't hurt you. You may find yourself putting on a little weight though, but not a lot. Not like really fat or anything. Just maybe a little more, and of course, you're going to grow fillers for your bras. Yeah, that's pretty scary. Well, I'm too skinny there anyway, so that won't hurt. Okay, I'll pretend to play her game until I can figure a way out. You're not going to rat me out, are you, old buddy? Heck no, Jessie. We've had too many good times for me to do anything like that to you, but you're going to have to keep taking the shots and pills though. I can't help you with that part. Okay, I can take it. But from now on, how about not drugging me first, okay? Since I know I'm going to get them anyway, there ain't much point in wasting half a day sleeping from the trink now, is there? Not if you'd rather be doing something else and you'll have schoolwork to do, and Aunt Jane said she's going to get you a new computer, so I know you'll like that. Man, you bet. Mom could never afford a decent one. I'd love to go surfing, and I know they're great for research for homework too. That sounds great. I promise to be a good girl, ho-ho. Will she let me play games on it too? Sure, as long as the schoolwork is done first and you can prove it. I'm getting As in BS now, and she's really happy about that, and I'll probably get a scholarship somewhere to college. Never figured on going to college, but from what I've been hearing, it's beginning to sound like fun. Lots of parties and stuff on the weekends and lots of sports. You still like sports, don't you? Love 'em all, just like always, especially football and basketball. Well, maybe we can go together. Who knows? Anyway, we aren't going to be getting into the kind of trouble we used to, so we may as well put that energy to some good use and get good grades with it. Your mom would shit a brick if she knew you were bringing home as in something, wouldn't she? Man, would she ever. Serve her right for all the time she left me alone getting in trouble. I guess if it's a choice between here or jail, I'd sure prefer here under any conditions. Hold that thought, Jessie, and try to stay straight. Around here, it will pay off in the long run. I know you don't want to end up like your dad. Yeah, what a bum. If I were religious, I'd probably pray for him. He sure could use it. Why don't you? Tell you the truth, Ginny, I don't know how. Well, we'll be going to church, so maybe you'll catch on. Are you done with the chopping? Yes, here, toss 'em in. How come you beat that so hard? That's what makes a really fluffy omelet. Oh! All right. Next time, I get to do it, okay? Sure. You're definitely going to want to learn to cook. It's a survival skill no matter what gender you are. You've got to eat, so why not eat well? Good point. Burgers and fries get boring in a hurry, even if you mix in a pizza once in a while. Well, we eat a lot better than that around here.
Please subscribe for the next part and visit my Patreon page for early access.